In today's episode of Threading Thoughts, we talk about public policy and the police force and the importance of citizens' engagement. Increasingly, women's recruitment in the police force has been the goal of the central and state governments. Yet India persists with a male dominated police force. This has resulted in huge disparity in the representation of women across the ranks. There are far fewer women at the gazetted ranks at the state level, which is the assistant sub inspector to deputy superintendent of police, than those at the constabulary level. This means that women are most prominent in the most junior ranks. While this is not a negative in itself, the absence of institutional support sometimes makes women remain in large numbers at the bottom of the ladder without moving up. And according to many studies, an increase in police women will also go a long way in making police stations more accessible for women and be a first step towards creating a more equal police force. Srimati Isha Pant IPS is the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Southeast Division, Bengaluru City. She was a 2011 batch IPS officer with the basic training at National Police Academy, Hyderabad. She was the ASP Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh, Superintendent of Police and Principal Police Training College, Karnataka. She is also the Superintendent of Police, Tumkuru District, and the Director of Forensic Science Lab, Madiwala, Bangalore. She was a Deputy Commissioner of Police, Command Center, Bengaluru City Police. She was one among the 13 students selected in India for PLUS Scholarship, that is Partnership for Learning Undergraduate Studies, awarded by the US Department of State. She was also the best probationer of the 2011 batch of IPS officers, awarded with the Home Minister's Revolver and Prime Minister's Baton. She was adjudged as the topper for the IPS batch for 2011, and she is also a TEDx speaker. She believes strongly in aiding the development of an egalitarian and gender-neutral society, as well as working towards developing a more sensitized police. I'm really glad to welcome Ms. Isha Pant to Threading Thoughts today. We're so glad you have an extremely hectic day, and to take time off and talk to us is really amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me over.
You're most welcome. I just wanted to start off asking, we've been hearing a lot of reports that police have been brought in to be as desk officers. So what do you believe women help desk officers bring to policing? What is their plus point that they bring?
So basically, in Bangalore City Police, under the Smart City project, we have started something called as Women Help Desk Officer Scheme. So they are not police personnel; they are actually women who are from the public, and they have enrolled themselves in something called as Civil Defense Program. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
So basically, Civil Defense Program is where the public, members of public can join this force, the civil defense force, as volunteers and help the police and the government during the time of some crisis or such similar issues. So these women are all enrolled as civil defense wardens, and so after seeing their qualification and doing the preliminary interview and everything with them, they were recruited. They were not recruited, they were actually included in the police stations as women help desk officers. So in each police station, we have 2 women help desk officers who have been trained by us in regarding laws relating to women, government schemes relating to women, also psychological first aid, communication, self-care, and all these things by professors from NIMHANS. So they have been given a holistic training about all these issues, and after that they were sent to the police stations. So their primary job is, all women complainants who come to the police station, all children who come to the police station, to attend to them, speak to them, try to know their issues, try to know their problems. And many times women come to police station in a very,
disturbed state,
distressed state of mind. So that's when, they also offer some kind of psychological first aid, and this is different from counseling, because like how we give to somebody in physical pain, we give psychological first aid to people who are in mental or have some issues, relating to mental and emotional health. So these women have been trained in that, and the response is pretty good, in fact, because these women sit there in they're not in the unit, they don't have uniform, so they're not in uniform, so they sit in civil dress, and they are seen by a lot of people as some kind of a bridge between police and public, and people feel
Right.
more comfortable reaching out to them, and since they have been trained, they people feel more comfortable, and especially women feel more comfortable opening up to them. So we have so far got really good response.
So that's unbelievable. And I think, as you correctly said, there's a lovely bridge. I think there's a comfort level of, some sort of a bridge between the police and them. And for you, it also helps quite a bit because you have almost like a layman coming in, being trained specifically and trying to help you in certain aspects as well. So the outreach perspective of that should be much more evident. So that is a wonderful initiative. And how far-reaching do you think this initiative has been from whatever you've seen?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we have got good response from the public, and see the whole intention behind this scheme is to make police stations more friendly, and for people to feel more comfortable when they approach the police. So, unfortunately, the image people have of police in their minds, which may or may not be true, is because of the conditioning which has been done, by movies or what we see or what we
True.
hear, rather than actual experience. So in order to break that stereotype, we have brought in these women, and as I said, women feel much more comfortable, and also since they have been trained to speak and to offer this kind of service to women and children and all the other complainants as well. So the response has been pretty good, actually.
Wonderful. And there are some changes, perhaps more women-friendly police stations or citizen-friendly police stations, let me put it that way. Has that also helped in bridging this gap or perhaps shattering these, unnecessary stereotypes that we build up ourselves?
Yeah. So as I said, the whole aim was to create a more safe atmosphere for women, and like as I said, and as you also rightly mentioned, that it may or may not be true. It is more of something that we have created in our own minds. So for that to break, we have to make some effort. So as police, we thought that this would be a great initiative to bridge that kind of the psychological gap that is there, or mental gap that there is present between the public and the police. And these women are they are a wonderful bridge.
Absolutely. And things like, women only restrooms or feeding rooms, that also helps in this image that, this is a people-friendly police station that you can go to. You also have women desk officers that can further help you. So I'm sure these are all some things that you've seen, and you are also putting it across different places, given that this has been quite successful.
Yeah, so it is there throughout Bangalore City Police, in all the 110 police stations of Bangalore City Police. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And talking about citizens and breaking perhaps this invisible barrier, how can citizen engagement help better the police force? Your functioning as such. How do you think citizens can come forward and help?
See, I am a firm believer of community policing. I'm a firm believer of the fact that it is that no department which works for the public can work in silos, and we need to any department for that matter, and any government system for that matter, to understand that we need to have close connect with the public, and especially so with the police, because we are very much present in people's everyday lives. be it the traffic, be it the law and order, be it the safety, everything, so we are very much connected with people's day-to-day life and their well-being, their life and liberty. So it is very important for us to work in close tandem with the public. And I mean, there's huge scope for people to work with us and Bangalore City Police, and I think police all across the country now is moving towards this greater awareness of including people in policing, and there are several initiatives which have been undertaken, and so there are, daily or like very regular beat meetings wherein women, like men, women, all people from the community come and participate in beat meetings.
Right.
And then we every fourth Saturday we have a public grievance meeting in police, which is attended by all senior officers. And also there are certain many programs that were earlier started, like the Jana Snehi policing program of Bangalore City Police. So we have started all these initiatives, and the role of public is immense, because unless and until people tell us what is the issue, we will not, because obviously we are there everywhere, but what is the number? A number is limited,
Correct.
for instance, for a population of 1 lakh, we might have 3-4 police personnel, for all we know. So in that situation, it is important for people to become eyes and ears and to tell us what is happening in there, and also give us solutions many times, because as the residents of that place, as a major stakeholder of that area, they would have various solutions, and we are all open to all these conversation with the public. And many times we have cracked a lot of cases because of the involvement of public, or we have been able to improve our policing because of the involvement of public.
No, absolutely. I think you're absolutely right. And it's really nice to see so much of effort being taken to reach out to the public, because ultimately you are helping the public themselves. So unless they are with you on this, it becomes much harder, to try and help them. It's easier to help people who like to be helped, and they also want to come in and and you have a very friendly Twitter handle. You have a lot of humor that comes into how you police. So it's really nice even for the youth to be involved and say, hey, this is really funny, but this is the message that we want to send across, right? So you sort of try and reach out in different ways, and especially Bangalore, perhaps, that it seems to be quite effective in bringing the citizenry and police together. But this can be replicated across the country, right? I mean, this is something that can be and should be replicated across the country. Is it something that can also be done in other police stations, and or are you actually reaching out to them saying that, hey, this worked very well for us, can we try this in other places as well?
Yeah, so this is something new which Bangalore City Police has done. When you're talking about women help desk, new, and there are a lot of other initiatives, and there are other police forces across the country which are doing a lot of innovative stuff, and we all learn from each other. So once an experiment is successful, it is definitely taken up by other places, by other police departments as well. So definitely we all learn from each other, and we live in a world where information sharing has become very much convenient than it was ever before. So sharing information has become much easier, and implementing those novel ideas has also become much easier now.
Absolutely. And thanks to technology, we are sitting here, I am discussing it with you, and that itself is a huge thing, right? Just the fact that we can talk to you on any platform for that matter and discuss issues is a huge thing. But I also wanted to ask, how do you see technology playing a larger role for you? Not just in policing, but generally, even in connecting, seems to have really come into a life of its own. So how do you see the future in that?
See, as I said, policing is deeply connected to people's lives. So now that our lives is technology driven, police is also getting more and more technology driven, because be the kind of crimes or solutions to the crimes, or how we crack the crimes, or how we collect evidence, all these are increasingly getting more technology driven. right? So definitely and also it's very important, like, as you had mentioned, our Twitter handle, we are present on all the major social media platforms. So because people are present on these social media platforms, these social media platforms have now
Absolutely.
become a way to collect people's grievances, to know people's grievances, to spread education, to spread awareness, exchange of ideas. All these things are happening through all these social media platforms. So definitely technology is very, very imperative, very, very important. And being in the technological capital of the country, in Bangalore, Bangalore City Police has always been very active in adopting new technologies. And I'll just give you an example of something new that we have started. It is called a CIR, which is Cybercrime Incident Report System, wherein anybody who is a victim of cybercrime can give a call to us on 112, which is the emergency number. And there is an IVRS option. The third option is that of CIR or cybercrime. And if you have faced any cybercrime, you'll press 3 and you will be directed to our entirely new system, wherein we have call takers who take all the information and investigators who will be investigating your cybercrime. So what I'm trying to say is, earlier you had to do this only, you could do this only when you go to the police station.
Correct.
Now, sitting at home, just you can just lodge the complaint on the basis of your, through your phone. So we are using technology to make the lives of people easier and to ensure that they get justice. So technology has always been important, it will always remain important, and as Bangalore City Police, we really remain committed to using newer technological methods and ways to improve our technology and to give better service to the citizens.
Fascinating. And I think, as you correctly mentioned, it is quicker redressal. It is also a quicker way of logging in any complaints or issues that we might have. It's much faster, much more efficient. And, you at a click of a button, you get to hear what the issue is, rather than, somebody traveling to the station, waiting there and, trying to file something. That's a phenomenal effort. And how do you see policy changes or, regulation changes for better policing and, greater citizen participation? I mean, how do we trigger citizen partnership, and also something like some regulations that you think can be changed or better, help police work even better than what they're working right now?
Yeah, see, since we are a government organization, our functioning depends on the kind of rules, policies that have been framed for us. So it is, and we have to keep asking for things which will improve our work conditions, which will enable us to work better. And I think we currently the kind of officers who are present in the decision making positions in Karnataka State Police are extremely proactive, and they have really taken a lot of steps to ensure that the government comes up with policies for the police which enable better work conditions, and which in turn enables them to give better performances.
Correct.
So we are, I think, it's a continuous process. It's not a one process, and there are a lot of things that are desired and that have to be done, like police reform, which is a more broader thing and which involves the entire country, when we talk of police reforms and whether they are being implemented in letter and spirit or not. So yeah, so these are much bigger issues, but at the micro level as well, there are a lot of issues. Like, for instance, I'll just give you an example of maybe having proper washroom facilities, or having mobile toilets when you have law and order bandobast duties, or having or getting money for as speeding charges when you're on law and order bandobast duty. So these are smaller issues which actually impact your functioning at a daily level, or at a daily level. So these are the things which are taken care of at a micro level, but macro level, definitely, I think, police reforms is one thing that we constantly need to aspire for and need to ask for.
Very true. And as the circumstances changes, I'm sure the policies or regulations also have to change with it. It's never a, set of things. I mean, as we move forward, like COVID was something completely unexpected. So the requirements for, bringing in security or, help at this point would have been unprecedented. So we would not have any, set ideas about this. So as you said very rightly, this seems to be this is a moving machine and we just need to keep working with it. Of course, there are some parts always required, but some that keep changing, right, as per the circumstance that we find ourselves in. And if there were four things that you would recommend changing, any four things across board that would enhance and empower the police force, what would they be? Any four things that you think can, it need not be regulation per se, it could be anything that you feel would empower and enhance what you're already.
I think there are a lot of issues, and one thing is getting the police reforms that I just mentioned, and so maybe giving fixed tenure, or more stable tenures, and changing transfer and posting policy, and having a more transparent transfer and posting policies. Like we come like as IPS officers, we come through a fairly transparent process and a fairly meritocracy driven process, which is UPSC. So I do not doubt that if I mean that is one exam which really selects people only on the basis of their performance.
Right.
So once we come into the service and we join and we work here, so we would expect same transparency is maintained, which in the real world is actually difficult. There are a lot of compulsions. So just because we are talking about a more utopian world, I think that would be that would a welcome thing to have. And definitely, I would, as a woman officer, I always think that it is important to give women and women personals their due, to understand that they have taken the same exam, and they should be valued for their merit, and not because should be discriminated against because they belong to a particular gender. So I think that is very important, and that will go slowly, because traditionally women have not been in the police force much, and slowly now they are coming up and they are speaking out. The whole society is changing, becoming more assertive. So uh, changes will happen, but I think right now we do need to include more women in positions of power, and also in postings which will give them the opportunity to directly work and showcase their abilities.
Right.
So I think these are a couple of things that we need to work on. And see, there are, as I said, macro and micro. So there are a lot of small issues which are there and which are being taken care of. Slowly and steadily, things are changing, but at a broad level, I think these are the few things that I think would really help us perform better, work better.
Absolutely. And I have no doubts about it. Just the fact that the moment you become people friendly, there is this trust that develops. And once the trust develops, there's a lot more that can happen. Once a dialogue is initiated, it's always this fear or a hesitation that prevents people from communicating.
Yeah,
I think this is amazing, and I cannot thank you enough for having just taken time off. It's a crazy schedule for you, but you're just absolutely approachable, and that speaks a lot about the police force themselves. And we're just really happy to see so many women coming up in senior positions, and not just starting positions. At some point, the upward movement has to be seen, and this is great. And the advantage of having women who have risen in the ranks through really difficult and tough times is that they understand what the issues are, and that's what they will work for. So that's really amazing to see. So thank you so much for taking time off, and it's been an absolute pleasure having you with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.